thing just happened to me. I broke my brand new iPhone. I dropped it on the street on the way to work. iPhone 17 Pro Max is now cracked. I didn't even do anything special. I didn't throw it. I was just a Butterfingers, and it fell out of my pocket onto the sidewalk. So I thought, what better episode than to take you with me as I learn one more thing, how to fix my new iPhone at the Apple Store with AppleCare. The drop on the sidewalk didn't just crack the glass. It dented and scratched the soft aluminum frame. And the case was also broken, so that's a bummer. Because this was a brand new iPhone, I was still within the 60-day window where I could sign up for AppleCare coverage. And yes, I quickly did it from my iPhone settings page. AppleCare is a monthly fee to help cover a chunk of the cost from damage and loss. After you buy a new Apple product, you have 2 months to sign up for the AppleCare program. Without AppleCare, the cost of repairs is more expensive, and I will break down all of that for you in detail at the end. But for the moment, just know that AppleCare has different prices depending on the product. I had 2 options for this iPhone 17 Pro Max. Covering just the iPhone would cost $14 a month, or I could get AppleCare One. It covered the iPhone and 2 additional Apple products for about $20 a month. Now, in the stress of the moment, I just picked AppleCare One, but I can cancel anytime or sign up for a cheaper plan later. Next, I went online to apple.com to book the repair appointment. Now, you can get this done at an Apple store or at one of Apple's authorized service partners. I picked the flagship New York Apple Store at 5th Avenue. But perhaps picking one of the busiest stores was not the best idea, because after 40 minutes, I discovered they didn't have the part in stock to fix it. They had no more displays for the brand new iPhone 17 Pro Max. I was told Apple would contact me when the parts come in, but I was not under obligation to get it fixed there. So I decided to try my luck again with another Apple Store appointment later that evening on the Upper East Side. And they did have the part in stock, and they could fix it for me on the same day. I just had to wait around. I left the store, I got some coffee, and I contemplated how the aluminum scuffs on the edge of this phone were not going to be fixed, and how this iPhone was not as durable as my iPhone 16 that was made of titanium. Back then, I never had to worry about AppleCare for all the dozens of times I dropped my phone. But then an hour later, I walked back in the store and it was ready for pickup. And I paid $29 plus tax for the repair. If I didn't have AppleCare, it would have cost me $379 plus tax to fix the screen. So thanks for nothing to the so-called tougher Ceramic Shield 2 glass display. And thanks for nothing to the orange Apple silicone case. But thanks a ton to the mystery repair technician who helped get my iPhone fixed the same day of my drop. I learned a ton about the AppleCare program in this journey of fixing my cracked screen, so here are some helpful facts, including how to get AppleCare if you are past the 60-day window. First, when I showed up to the Apple Store both times, no one asked me when I broke the phone. No one asked me when I signed up for AppleCare. I was nervous about that. They just asked what happened, and I explained that I dropped it on a sidewalk, and they asked if I had AppleCare, and they looked up to see if they had the parts in stock to fix it. Apple has you do a little diagnostic test on the iPhone to make sure everything else is running fine on the device. You also have to back up your device to iCloud because you sign an acknowledgement that there is a chance something could go wrong in the repair, and it might mean you might lose your data from your device. And I think that happened to another customer during my visit. While I was waiting, I overheard someone get pretty upset that he went in to get a new battery and his phone display stopped working during the repair process, but the Apple staff worked to help him resolve that headache. You don't want to lose your files if something goes wrong in the repair, so always back up everything at home before going to the store. Now let's go over the little tricks of buying AppleCare that folks don't always talk about. You can buy an individual AppleCare Plus plan on any device by itself, and every device is priced differently. If you purchase AppleCare Plus to cover an iPhone, iPad, or Apple Watch, it will also cover the cost from theft and loss of your device. And you have to have Find My Location turned on. But if you do, and you lose it, you have to pay a deductible. It's $149 to replace a lost iPhone and $119 to replace a lost Apple Watch. But not every Apple gadget will be covered if you lose it. Apple does not cover loss or theft for AirPods, probably because lots of people lose their buds all the time. If you want Apple Care for headphones, it's cheap. It's like $2 or $3 a month, but it's just repairs on things like drops and spills and free battery replacements. MacBooks are also not covered for loss or theft. There is a value, however, when you bundle multiple devices in Apple Care One. It's about $20 a month to cover 3 devices, which is cheaper than covering a new iPhone and MacBook separately. But when you pick your 3 devices, you can switch which ones are covered if you change your mind. My advice is if you are going to hand down an older gadget to someone else, you want to cover it with Apple Care and get a battery replacement or fix any damage while it is still under your name before you reset it and give it to someone else. Here are tricks to getting Apple Care even if you're past the 60-day sign-up window. You will get the prompt to sign up for Apple Care One with any new Apple product purchase. So today, if you bought an Apple HomePod speaker, you can sign up to Apple Care One and then add your older iPhone or older MacBook. It just needs to be a device that's not more than 4 years old. But let's say you just have one iPhone and it's past the 60-day mark. If it's in good condition, you can take it to an Apple store to get inspected. And then if it passes, you can be eligible to add Apple Care coverage. The iPhone just has to be under 2 years old. And for iPads, Mac, and Apple Watches, it can only be up to 1 year old. Oh, and what if you get Apple Care and then you cancel? Well, the moment you lose Apple Care, there is a 45-day window that starts so you can sign up again. That also applies if your plan expires. That's helpful if, say, you get Apple Care One, but you want to downgrade to a cheaper plan. You got 45 days to sign up again after you cancel. I hope my little story about the cracked screen and all the stress that came with it helped you out. And I'm glad it had a happy ending. Although I am most definitely taking this Apple silicone case off and going with something tougher. I have a few to try. This one is from Casetify, but clear always shows fingerprints. And I have one here that's frosted. It's a Mag Armor Future case. And maybe I also need to buy a screen protector too. Certainly, it might be cheaper to armor up the iPhone than pay a monthly Apple Care fee, but it's always a gamble. So tell me in the comments, do you live case-free with your iPhone and you just get insurance like Apple Care? Or should I just start using better cases and cancel the Apple Care plan and hope I don't come across trouble? Share your experiences so we can learn from each other. And I'll catch you with more Apple news and tips next week with another episode of One More Thing.